Okay, welcome to the, I guess, week one recap.
Hello, hello.
Also, as a side note, I don't know if this is messing with you, but my push to talk in Discord is the same thing as my push to talk in the stream.
Nope, good with me.
Okay. So we don't really have a lot of matches to talk about this week because only 3 happened.
Yeah, looks like unfortunately we had at least one coach who didn't accept his ticket, and then another match that failed the schedule somehow there.
So the first one we're going to look at is the 3-1 win for Neffel's Disciples versus NFL Egypt. This was definitely a case of elves not dying quickly enough.
Elves not dying quickly enough, and starting the game off with the blitz versus Wood Elves is not the thing that you want to do there.
Nope.
So yeah, Elves getting the blitz, getting the quick touchdown against the slow Camry team.
Yeah, it doesn't. It seems like he doesn't look like he made any vanity passes. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't watch the game, but 2 passes and 2 catches seems to me like he was just scoring.
Yep, that's absolutely it.
He actually did a surprising amount of damage with only 16 blocks, 2 KOs, 2 injuries.
Mm-hmm.
Versus the
Yeah,
Camrys. Well, I guess the Camry did 4 injuries and 2 kills, but
4 injuries, 2 kills, a KO. So they got a fair bit of removals there. There was a good bit of time where there were not very many elves on the pitch. So, yeah,
pretty
the
excellent SPP gain though for both teams.
yeah, great SPP all the way around. The one thing that was a little bit funny, the blitz leading into the early score for the Wood Elves. There was an Alibaba inducement by NFL Egypt that was immediately sent off on turn 2. So inducements out the window.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Stab, no.
Yep. So rough game for NFL Egypt.
Okay, so yeah, the Wood Elves. This is the second time these two teams have faced, by the way. At least this time, the Tomb Kings did get a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
The last time in Greenhorn, they got beat 3-0.
So, well, that's an improvement then.
Yep. Looking at the dice rolls, I mean, the Elves failed a lot of dodges, but I'm pretty sure most of those had built-in rerolls.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, not a lot of failed dice.
Yeah, I think things went fairly swimmingly for the Woodies.
The Khemris failed 2 out of 2 dodges, which is not super surprising. They're not exactly a dodgy team.
Yep.
Somewhat expected. Not really a lot of dice rolled though for the Khemri side.
Yeah, no, it seemed like they stood around punching elves most of the time.
He got a lot of pows. Blodge wasn't really doing a lot here.
Nope. Not at all.
Although, Neffel's Disciples had an okay hit rolls. Not that they really necessarily needed to hit to win.
No, they didn't make too many hits. They were more grab the ball, run away.
Well, I mean, 16 blocks in 16 turns. That's not a lot of blocks.
Including a blitz, so that's really like 16 blocks in 17 turns.
That's true. But I mean, against Khemri, a lot of the time, like, what is set up on the line? Oh, it's 3 Temple Guard. Or not Temple Guard.
Yeah.
Tomb Guardians. There we are.
Tomb Guardians, yeah. Yeah, you're not basing up and hitting those Strength 5 guys, so good MVPs for the Tomb Guardian.
Great MVPs.
Really great MVPs all the way around, but a level on that Tomb Guardian is going to go a long way.
This catcher, it was just a badly hurt for the catcher.
Yeah.
Okay, the next game up was the Halflings versus the Orcs, which was a 2-1 win for the Orcs.
Yep, which
The orc armor just it held strong.
Yeah, absolutely. Orc armor did exactly what they wanted it to do. The one score for the halflings was a 1-turn touchdown. So good job on the halflings on making that tree throw a fling.
The one turns with halflings, like I mean, I've fought halflings a couple times, and they're actually incredibly good at one turning
Oh yeah,
if they're lucky.
especially with like deep root. Deep
Oh
root
yeah.
is he makes it super easy.
But it is kind of surprising out of 27 blocks, the only injury was just a Kaz. 3 mighty
Mm-hmm.
blow on that team.
Yeah, Kaz one orc.
We did have 2 passes for the orcs, which were both successful.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm not sure if those were scoring or vanity.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I speed watched the game, so I didn't catch the passes in there. I'm assuming they were vanity passes because it looked like most of the time it was a caged run to the end zone.
Uh, Halflings got a bit of SPP. Almost all, I believe all of it is on Halflings, which is a little bit unfortunate. Well,
Yep,
I guess 2
deep
is on
root getting
Deep
the
Root.
one Kaz. Yeah.
The Orcs got an excellent spread of SPP, including Lawrence Taylork, who got 6.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, they got a lineman MVP, but, I mean, lineman Orcs are still quite good. So that's not really
I'm
the end
at,
of the world.
I'm noticing the orc names and
Yep,
I'm loving it.
I know. It's a great naming scheme. The Orc dice rolls. I failed 3 of the 8 dodges, which is not that terrible.
Yeah, no, not bad at all.
He tried to throw the ball on quite a few times, though. 6 attempted passes. So I'm guessing he was trying to farm SPP.
Yeah, that's what that looks like to me.
But his team just wasn't having any of it.
Well, did their throwers start with pass?
Yeah, thrower start with pass.
So they may have been rerolled passes.
Oh, that's
Those may
true.
have actually been somewhat successful.
The halfling dodges were not on point. He failed 12 out of 35. But a lot of those could be rerolls.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the trees failed a whopping 7 take roots.
Yep. Between 2 trees, that's a lot of take root failure.
Well, I think he had 3 because he had deep root. Oh no, deep root
Yeah,
doesn't take
deep
root.
root didn't have to. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right. He made 3 landings out of 8 thrown, so there was a lot of halflings landing on their face.
Yep. There absolutely was. Saw at least one towards the end there that could have stopped the second touchdown from the Orcs,
Oh,
but he landed
damn.
face down.
Wow, the orcs, they're block dice. 32 pushes and only 5 pows. But it looks like he got a lot of both downs where he needed them with his block pieces.
Yeah. Yeah, the both downs were doing work for him, and fortunately he was low on the skulls. So if you're going to
Yeah,
be light on pals, at least you're light on skulls too.
that is fair. Okay, and the next game is the Joy Boys versus We're Slaying Them. The first thing is the Nurgle made 48 blocks and got 3 armor breaks. We're Slaying Them
Mhm.
made only 6 more blocks, but he had 13 more armor breaks.
Yep, yep. I'm going to say a little bit of that is influenced by Claw coming to the party there for We're Slaying Them.
That's fair.
But I also have to just give mad props to Wait Hold My Beer for getting 3 touchdowns in a single half. Like that's what was impressive to me, that all 3 of those touchdowns came in the second half.
That is pretty excellent. Ton of SPP for the the Necro there,
Mhm.
including a whopping 10 on their white.
Yeah, Stephen White getting the focus of the SPP. It seems like.
He got a Kaz, a touchdown, and an MVP, which is pretty amazing. This Necro team is shaping up pretty hard against some of these other teams.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The Necro team's looking really good right now.
Let's look at the Joy Boys. He failed 2 of 2 dodges. He failed 1 catch out of 1.
Mm-hmm.
But he passed 2 of 2 pickups, so the beast was relatively not stupid. Only 2 fails,
Yeah, reasonable.
so not terrible dice. His armor was not great.
I do like seeing that the beast was only activated 13 times. That
Yep.
to me says that you're not. I worry whenever I see a Beast of Nurgle activated 16 times in a game, because if he's activated 16 times, something's probably not happening right.
Pretty much. I mean, at some point you should be able to put the beast in a place where he doesn't need to activate the next turn.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, I'm guilty myself of wanting to hit things with him.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Uh,
Especially early on, you're still wanting
Oh,
to
yeah.
get SPP on him.
Well,
and he's your mighty blow.
he has 2 Kaz so far, so he's just 1 Kaz from leveling.
Yeah, that'll make you a little more greedier than normal.
Yeah. We're slaying him. Actually failed 4 foul appearances. There was 24 foul appearance rolls. That's a lot of hitting on warriors and beasts.
Yeah,
Other than that,
absolutely.
not a whole lot of dice rolls being made here. 2 failed catches, which I guess when you're fighting Nurgle is not really that surprising.
No, not at all.
Block dice. There were a lot of Nurgle Necro block dice thrown. Pretty decent spread though. Not really much more than any other one. It's a very average spread of dice.
Mm-hmm.
Same with the Joy. Well, I guess the Joy Boys had quite a few skulls.
Yeah,
They had several 1 and 9s.
Yeah, and I know at least one of those 1 and 9s was on the Beast of Nurgle on like a critical turn that led to a turnover on the ball. So it was some poorly timed 1 and 9s as well.
That will happen. I guess we're just gonna pop over and look at the leaderboard quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So at the top we have the Necro, which is not that surprising after a 3-1 win. 3-1?
Yep.
3-0?
3-0. 3-0.
And then the next is the Wood Elves with their 3-1 win.
Right.
And then the Orcs with their 2-1 win. And then, well, I guess the final game was the Chaos, but that wasn't actually a game. It's an admin win.
Mm-hmm.
There were some scheduling issues between those two, I guess.
Yep.
So really, out of this div, we only had 3 played games. All of which looked
hopefully
pretty
that'll
interesting.
pick up. Yeah.
Okay. Next, we're gonna look at the teams themselves, starting with Gunner 2-3 and his Orcs, the Brute Squad. They really do have some pretty excellent names on this team.
In any favorites there? I think mine is Junior Say Ow.
That's a pretty great one. I think my favorite is Orctez Kennedy.
Okay. Yeah.
His team doesn't have a huge amount of progression. He does have a leveled Black Orc though, which is pretty excellent.
Yep. And is the Black Orc that's out just a MNG? Yeah, just an MNG.
It's just a miss next game. So no real damage.
Yeah. Guard lineman is always fantastic to have. So.
Yep. Yeah, he had
Good
that
stuff.
coming into last game.
Okay.
What he had at the beginning of the season was the plus move blitzer and the guard lineman.
Mm-hmm.
So last game he got the tackle piece and then he got the block Black Orc. And I guess getting tackle, like normally I'm not a huge fan of getting tackle first, but considering the team he's taking on next, I can definitely understand it.
Yep. Sometimes you have to make those calls to win the game now.
Yep. Not a huge amount else to talk about on the team aside from that. Pretty standard. He's got 3 fan factors so far. 80k
Hmm.
in the bank. Not really a whole lot else. Next
Right.
game he'll be missing a Black Orc, but not the end of the world when you're fighting Wood Elves.
Hmm.
And speaking of the Wood Elves, they are the next team up. Not a lot of players, but the players that he has,
The players they have are real good.
yes. I mean, he's only rocking 2 rerolls, but this team is just so efficient that they don't necessarily need rerolls.
Yep. Has the tackle sidestep war dancer and the strip ball war dancer who's gonna be nasty. Did the orcs have a sure hands for next week?
They do have a sure hands because they have the thrower.
Okay. Okay. Then they'll be all right.
Yeah. And then we have the Blodge Surefoot catcher.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if that guy gets the ball and runs around, you're not getting it back as orcs.
Yep.
And then we got the Raj catcher. The one thing I will note is that the bottom catcher that has 0 SPP is niggled.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about that with a 0.
Yeah.
I know they're expensive, but I might just let that guy go.
Yeah, I don't think I would keep a niggled AV7 guy. I mean, even though he has decent skills, like, you still have 3.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'd keep him around. And he was niggled going into last game, so
Yep.
he was injured sometime during the Greenhorn.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I'm assuming he's saving up his money to either buy a tree or his 3rd reroll.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to see a tree.
Yeah, I think I would agree with the tree. The tree stops the bleeding on the Wood Elf team. It just distracts so much damage.
Especially versus a lot of slower teams,
Mm-hmm.
which we have several of in this division.
Yep. Yep, I agree.
He has an excellent record. He's 3-0-0 with 9 touchdowns scored in those 3 games. So every single game he scored 3 touchdowns.
He's doing his Wood Elfin right.
Yep. Oddly enough, he's not taking more casualties than he's giving. He's taken 6 and given 6.
That's pretty impressive. I wonder what teams he's played so far.
However, almost every single injury he's taken seems to have been a perm.
Yeah. Yep, I can see that too.
So he fought an ogre team
Okay.
in game 2, and the other 2 times he's fought have been the Khemri.
Okay. Well,
Yep. Those are 3 exceptional teams that this team would want to fight.
yeah, for sure. That is those are some interesting matchups for Wood Elves. Like they're very bashy, scary to get punched matchups, but also matchups that you can just run around and do whatever you want.
Yeah, exactly. Especially against Noblars. Like, what is a Noblar going to do against a Tackle War Dancer?
Yeah, absolutely nothing.
Okay, and the next team up is Becky and the Jerks, although it's literally the exact same thing as it was previous because they haven't played their game. But
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a decent team though for advancement. He has a Mighty Blow, Skaven Blitzer. One of them is at 5 of 6, so 1 SPP in hill level. And aside from that, the SPP is scattered all over the place, and the one thrower has block.
Too much Goblin SPP, but that's
Yeah.
okay.
I mean, when you have 14 players, it's going to be difficult to target MVPs where you want.
Yeah, for sure.
And he actually played all 4 games of the Greenhorn. Was 2 wins and 2 losses.
Okay. That's not bad for starting Underworld. So
No,
good
starting
job. Keep
starting
it up.
Underworld is rough.
Yeah.
But
They're a team that does become very good later in life, but yeah, starting out it's pretty hard.
oh yeah. Once you get those core skills like the blitzers up and the troll getting some reliable skills and the throwers getting a little bit of
Mhm.
stuff, You just have so many players you want to level up, but it's so difficult to focus your SPP on this team because you have no
Yeah.
Agi 4-stars.
Right. Well, in my view, all you need is a couple of good killers in your blitzers, and then getting one or two good underworld goblins with those mutations, they can all of a sudden do some 2+ dodges, big hand, pick up and tackle zones.
That is
Uh,
definitely true. Like, even just a regular level on one of those guys gives them access to 2 heads.
yeah, yeah, and a 2-headed goblin is a real pain.
Yeah, I fought one this week in my REL match, and he was 2-head, big hand, and I was like, well, wherever that guy wants to go, he's going.
Yeah, anytime the ball's on the ground, he can pick it up if it's near
Yep.
him at all.
And I gotta say, I always want to see Underworld do well, so I hope this team does.
Yep, we're cheering for you, Rock Lobstrosity. Man, that's a mouthful.
I know, right? So the next team is going to be NFL Egypt, which is Whacked Mackies.
Mm-hmm.
Not a whole lot of SPP on this team. However, 2-block Tomb Guardians.
That's amazing.
Yep.
And dodge on the Blitzraw.
Yep.
Like, those are all doubles for levels.
Yep.
Way to go.
Every single level has been a double. I'm not too sure if I would have taken the dodge on the Blitzra. I would like to have seen Mighty Blow, but dodge is definitely not bad. He's
No,
done most
dodge
of the
is a good skill.
almost all the scoring has been done on that Blitzra.
Yeah. It makes it a little awkward though, because now that Blitzraw is kind of your default ball carrier. So
Yeah.
what is Joe Montuna doing down there?
That's fair, yeah. Currently sitting at 0 SPP.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I mean. Like, I would have done all the carrying and such on him to get him to Mighty Blow, and then you just start carrying on someone else.
Yeah.
Because you really need the punchiness on this team, because you do have 4 Strength 5 pieces, but skeletons are not that hard to hurt.
Yeah, they're not at all. But 2-block Tomb Guardians,
He
who
does
are
have
probably
2-block Tomb Guardians.
Rob Brady is probably getting Mighty Blow when he levels next.
For sure.
If he doesn't double again, and then he'll just be great.
Oh man, if he doubles and gets a Blodge Tomb Guardian, that would be amazing.
Oh yeah, that would be great.
He has played 3 games. His first and his third match were against the Nuffle Disciple, so we've already gone over those.
Mm-hmm.
And his middle game was against some Pro Elves, where Armor Breaks did a thing. He got a lot of removals.
Yeah, that's the kind of game you want as Kimmery right there.
Yep. And I think all of the SPP went on positionals in that game, so. So definitely a decent start to the Kimmery team.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely excited to see how his season progresses.
Yeah, Kimmery's a really fun team. They're a little slow to start, and with that path that he's on, maybe a little bit slower than normal, but it'll be really good to see them later in the season.
Yep. Next up, we have Furry-Footed Freaks from Geek Chef.
And an interesting pick on his first level on both of his halflings there with 2 catch halflings.
I'm not sure how I feel about the catch halfling. I get it for the 1 turn, which I'm assuming is what it's for.
Sure.
But I'm used to seeing a lot of sidestep.
Yeah, and like I would almost just want more like Sure Feet, because you're going to make more Sure Feet rolls or more go for it rolls doing the 1 turns than you probably are catch rolls.
Well, especially since movement 5 is actually pretty slow.
Mm-hmm.
He has played 3 games. Unfortunately, only 1 Treeman Kaz.
Mm-hmm.
They're just not pulling their weight. And
Yep,
all 3 MVPs have been halflings.
Looks like at least one of those halflings took 2 MVPs, I'm guessing, to get to that 10 SPP.
Yep.
Yep.
I know Raging Chef got one, so I think Pigsy literally, or no, I think Pigsy was the one that leveled last game. Yeah, Pigsy took the MVP last game to level.
Yeah.
And he's taken 2 in total.
Yep.
I mean, one reroll, inducement build. It's a pretty standard
Yep.
halfling team.
Yep. Does he have the Knuffles altar as well?
He does, yeah.
Yeah. So it's important for him to be the home team. That'll be something to note when we look at the matchups.
He also has a level 3 stadium.
Level 3. I guess burning off that extra cash.
He started at 600k, so yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that is the standard halfling build.
Yep.
Okay, next up will be We're Slaying 'Em by Wait Hold My Beer. Some starred Necro, I guess? Looks like stars.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, all comedians.
Yep. We've had a lot of SPP on this team. The only unfortunate thing is that there's literally 0 Flesh Golem SPP.
Yeah, the flesh golems are always tough to level. They don't have block to start with. It makes all their blocks a little risky. No mighty blow, so
Yeah.
it takes forever to get something going.
It's
They're
one
so
of the,
slow.
especially when you have werewolves as well. Like most of your blitzing is going to be a werewolf or a white.
I will say, Wait Hold My Beer has done a great job of focusing SPP over to the whites over the werewolves because it's very easy to just let those werewolves run wild. And I've seen necro teams that have, like level 3 and 4 werewolves and, still rookie whites.
Yeah.
So good job distributing that SPP.
For sure, because you definitely need the extra card pieces, the extra mighty blow, tackle, like whatever it is you need at the time on those whites.
Yeah.
Especially if you're doing almost all your carrying on werewolves.
Yeah, for sure.
Most of his MVPs have been, well, I guess his one MVP was kind to him. All the rest, the 2 initial ones went to the DP player.
Yeah. I always hate the double MVP dirty player because it just feels like he's gonna level again too quickly.
Definitely happens.
Yeah.
But I mean, the spread of SPP on this team is excellent. I mean, 1 white is a touchdown from level 3. One of the whites is 2 SPP from level 3. One of the whites is a single SPP from level 2.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna balloon pretty fast. Really, just
Yep.
Those golems just need to hopefully get some MVP or some Kaz.
Yeah, absolutely, and he'll be in great shape from there.
His record is 2-1 from the Greenhorn, and this season as well.
Mm-hmm.
He's inflicted 3 kills and 10 casualties in 3 games.
That's starting things off right.
And 6 touchdowns, so that's a lot of damage. In return, he's taken a single casualty and 4 KO and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Pretty, definitely a great start to the season. I definitely expect to see this team do very well.
Yeah, I think definitely a contender.
Okay, next up we have the REL Hushlut Marauder. Not really a lot to talk about on this team. There's a dead blocker. Or no, sorry, there's a dead Bull Centaur.
Mm-hmm.
Who he's somehow 10... Did he not get any money from the...
I'm not sure if that match has been confirmed. No, it has been.
Sarkin Blackarm. No, the SPP hasn't come through yet. Because it would have been on Sarkin Blackarm, who's currently at 206. And he was at 120 last week when I did the pre-cap. So I guess it just hasn't been confirmed yet. But presumably next week he's going to have a Bull Centaur and an extra level Chorf, which is not that bad actually.
Yep.
I mean, you got a Loner Hobgoblin, but that's not really a big deal. Loner
No,
Hobgoblin's foul just as good as anybody else.
Absolutely.
or get punched in the face, whichever.
I am curious to see, is this a ball carrying bull centaur chorf coach or a hobgoblin carrying chorf coach?
I always feel like if you're carrying on your hobgoblin, you're wasting SPP that could be on your bulls.
Well, sure. I just wonder if you'll see the sure hands bull centaur that you sometimes see, or if
Okay.
you'll see the standard progression.
Yeah, I'm really not sure. Let's see. His 2 Greenhorn games were a 2-0 loss and a 1-0 loss. One of which was actually against the Mighty Blowjays.
Okay.
So I guess the game that didn't get played, it was the same person he played game 1.
Wow. Had a rematch going in, but I guess couldn't make it happen for whatever reason.
Yep. And really, all that's on this team is the Mighty Blow pylon player.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you're welcome, Grandview King. You know, you need all the help you can get with Recap or Curse.
Okay, here. I'll fix it for you. Wait, hold my beer is just going to lose every game the rest of the season. That's my prediction.
Oh
There you
wow!
go.
See, there you
Fixed.
go. No Recap or Curse anymore.
Fixed.
Okay, so the next team up is the Mighty Blowjays, which is a Chaos team from Rar
Mm-hmm.
Rar.
Yeah, Rar, who I play in another league with, so I'm familiar with his style of chaos, which is you just take Mighty Blow first on
Yep,
every piece.
it infuriates me, but it is something you can do. It is a thing.
Yep.
It
Mm-hmm.
I personally can't deal with all the 1 and 9s that occur when you don't have block, so I can't do Mighty Blow first.
Yeah, and not to harp on it, but if you go and do the math, taking block first does generate more casualties in the long run. It is a faster path to leveling, but yeah, there you go. Mighty
We
Blow first.
we do have a Sure Hands Goat, which it's neither here nor there. I'm not against it. I'm not for it.
Yeah,
We've had
I just
we've had some dead goats.
yeah, which is that's okay. He has 120 in the
Yeah,
bank, so
he's
he
got more
can.
than enough to replace it, and that's not even including the amount of money that he'll get from the admin game when it's rolled.
Yeah, so should be able to go back up to the full 11.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah, it's other than that, it's a standard build, the 3 rerolls, the Apo.
mm-hmm.
Thus far, his record is 2 wins and a draw. Granted, the 2 wins are from the same person.
Yep.
The other is from
Yep.
Haley's Traveling Circus, which was a Kislev team, which was a 2-2 game, which gave a lot of SPP to that Chaos team.
Wow, that's an interesting game.
Yeah.
That's one I would have liked to have watched. How'd
Yes,
that go down?
sadly, the replays for that were deleted by the time I was looking at doing the pre-cap, because I was super interested in that game.
Yeah, that's a neat one.
So I mean, this is a pretty decent start. Not really sure where the SPP is going to land for the, I guess the admin role, but
Mm-hmm.
this team's in a pretty decent spot. Like, as long as these warriors skill up fast and get block, I really hope they don't get claw next.
I'm not sure what he'll do second. I just know he's a Mighty Blow first kind of guy.
Ah, okay. Other than that, I mean, it's a pretty decent start to the Chaos team.
Yeah, for sure.
And
Good. It's nice that all the warriors have leveled.
Oh yeah, for sure. Last will be, because technically the 10th team has never accepted their ticket, is the Nurgle team, which is Joy Boys from Toboggan Hawk. So they had a rough go at it going into their last game without any Pestigors.
Yeah, MNG Pestigore for the opener of the season, and
early Nurgle is
yeah.
just suffering. It really is.
It is. You're slow. You don't have any skills that make you reliable whatsoever, and you come up against a guy who's got claw and beats up on you, being a big bully.
I mean, it's amazing how much of a big deal it is when you fight someone that has block.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden, your 1 and 9s are not only ending your turn, the other person's not even affected.
Yep. And I know that that happened at least once during that game where the Beast of Nurgle threw a 1-9 block on the Wolf that had block, and the Beast of Nurgle went down. I think it was even stunned off of that, and that was like the first action of the turn. So the turn's over. You lost your whole turn. Your strongest piece is on the ground and stunned. Like, it's rough.
I have so much trouble throwing blocks as a beast when they don't actually have block.
Mm-hmm.
Unless it's a 3 dice. I'll usually gamble on a 3 dice, but...
Yeah, absolutely.
But, yeah, the problem for this team is there's just no progression at all. I mean, the Pestigore, luckily, is a touchdown from leveling, and the Beast is a Kaz from leveling, but not a whole lot of SPP on the board aside from that.
Yep.
Unfortunately, a bunch of Rotters have taken the SPP and then also died.
Yeah, that makes it really rough. Baby down there is just one SPP from leveling. In situations like this, I would not. I know the traditional thing is to go dirty player Rotter. When you only have one Pestigore and you don't have a lot of reliability yet, I wouldn't mind getting wrestle or block on one of these Rotters and just
I would definitely not
having a
hate
piece.
block. Like, block would
Yeah.
it would increase the reliability of the team so much. I mean, that's also coincidentally what I would take on this Pestigore if he leveled.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the Beast, I mean, you know, you'd probably take guard if it's not a double, or block if it's a double, but hopefully we're going to see some MVPs start landing on the Warriors.
Mm-hmm.
Because they really need the help.
Yeah, absolutely.
One thing I will say is I think he's been rebuying Rotters as they die, based on the amount of money that's in the bank. I wouldn't do that. I would just take dead Rotters. Just leave them dead. You really need your third reroll.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Don't spend cash on Rotters. They're gonna die. Just embrace it.
Mm-hmm.
Loner Rotters are just as good at kicking people in the head and standing in the way of things.
Yeah, spend your money on pieces with regen.
Yep. Yeah, like I wouldn't mind seeing a second Pestigore once this guy's leveled, and I would definitely advise saving up for the reroll.
Yep, absolutely.
Especially when you don't have block or anything yet. 2 rerolls is just not enough.
Yeah, you're gonna roll those 1-9s, and you have to be able to reroll with them up until you get some reliability on those other pieces.
Yep. So the Nurgle record so far is 1-0-2, which is actually not terrible. Unfortunately,
Nope,
taken more Kaz than he's done, and obviously an unfortunate amount of kills, 4 deaths.
Mm-hmm.
But no other games against anybody else in this div. And we have an admin orc team because the orc team never actually took their ticket. Not really sure what happened there.
Yep.
So I guess now we're going to look at the schedule for next week.
Mm-hmm.
So first up, from the looks of it, is that Grandview King is getting an admin week unless this team is replaced.
There goes my prediction. I was wrong.
That's true. I guess you can't lose an admin week unless the team. There is a chance that either this guy takes his ticket or there is a new team. I'm not really sure what's going on.
Yeah.
I guess we'll see as the weeks rolled.
Yep, absolutely.
Next up, we have the Chorfs versus the Halflings, and I have to say that unless things go really well for the Halflings, the Chorfs are probably going to murder the Halflings.
Yeah, this is a game where the Chorfs are looking to break some SPP pinatas and get lots of SPP.
Yep. And after that, it is the Mighty Blow Jays versus NFL Egypt. So Chaos versus Tomb Kings.
Yeah, Mighty Blow Chaos versus
Two block Tomb Guardians.
2 block Tomb Guardians. So
1-9s.
This is a game I would want to keep an eye on for this week. For sure. I think this is the want to watch game for this week is Block versus Mighty Blow.
Who do you think? Who do you think's gonna pull it off in the Chaos versus Tomb King game?
Oh, my heart wants to go with the Khemri, but I feel like the Mighty Blow versus AV7 is probably going to win the day.
I feel like that Blodge piece that he picked up is going to be ball carrying, and that is going to be a pain for the Chaos to remove.
It absolutely will, because you're rolling for POWs only.
So I'm hoping to see the Camry pull it out here.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm voting for.
All right.
Next up, we have Joy Boys versus Becky and the Jerks. So we got Nurgle versus Underworld. And I have to say, I have to vote for the Underworld here because the Nurgle have no progression. And the Underworld actually have Mighty Blow.
Yep.
And 14 guys.
The only thing, it's all going to come down to, can the Joy Boys roll some fortunate POWs?
Pretty much.
And if they can, those goblins break pretty easy. So we will see.
And I think by far probably the best match to watch this week will probably be the Brute Squad versus Nuffle's Disciples. The Orcs just picked up a tackle, but is it going to be enough to stop the Elves from elfing all over them?
Man, Orcs are so slow and Elves are so fast, but I don't know. That'll be a match to watch.
For sure. I think I am going to go with the Wood Elves for that, though. I think the Wood Elves are going to pull it out.
Yeah, based on their record, I think I tend to agree. Plus, they have all the war dancers, all the catchers. That's just so much raw speed to deal with as the Orc team. And when I watched the game from this week versus the Kimry, this Wood Elf team did a very good job of switching sides and pulling the Kimry left, right until they were out of position and then just running away with it. So I think they'll be able to do the same thing to the Orcs in general.
For sure.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised to see some dead Wood Elves, but I think they're going to pull it off. Probably, I want to say it's going to be a 2-1 or a 3-1.
Mm-hmm. That sounds about right.
And I guess that's basically all there is to talk about, since we didn't have all our games get played last week.
Yeah, I think so. The one takeaway I'd say is, guys, make sure you schedule early, schedule often, get it out there, and make sure you get your games in.
And make sure you're scheduling on Reddit.
Yeah, for sure. That's the only place that counts for the admins.
And hopefully, either other healer accepts their ticket and comes into the div, or they're replaced. Because I really want to see someone fight the Necro next week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I would rather see a game than no game.
Exactly. But I guess other than that, that's going to wrap up this recap.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for watching, guys.